Hey, good morning. Today we're going to be covering the full short story of F. Scott Fitzgerald, Winter Dreams. Very important to point out that this story is going to be divided in 6 parts. And it's very important to know that as we're going to go forward, this is going to show the development of our main character, which is Dexter Green. There's a lot of similarities between the life of Fitzgerald and between the life of Jay Gatsby that we're going to see in The Great Gatsby. Why? Because it's all the portrait of our author, that is Fitzgerald. Now, our story begins in what place in particular? What state in particular from the United States? It's in Minnesota. Okay, and what is particular about Minnesota and our author? What is particular about the setting in our author Fitzgerald? If we look back at the background and the biography of Fitzgerald, he was from Minnesota. So you're gonna see real places being portrayed in our stories. Later on, we're gonna know that our author is gonna move to New York, and you're gonna see that setting both in Winter Dreams and also in The Great Gatsby. Okay, so we have our main character Dexter Green. We know that there's a lot of commotion from the people of Minnesota because they don't like what particular season of the year. They don't like winter. Why? Because they're used to playing golf, being out, and in contrast to this people, Dexter Green likes winter for him, and that's why our story it's called Winter Dreams, because as we go along, they're gonna explain a dream that Dexter had that later on we're gonna know which one is it, okay? We know that the profession of Dexter so far as a 14-year-old is which one? A caddy, okay? He is working as a caddy. He's a very good caddy, and he is getting paid much more than the rest of the caddies. So we're having a good caddy getting paid for the good work that he's doing, okay? We're also gonna know that he is gonna meet a guy named Mortimer Jones. And eventually, he is gonna work for Mortimer Jones as a caddy. Eventually, we're gonna have Dexter having an important decision at 14. And what's that decision? He's gonna quit his job. This guy's not 40, he's not 50, he's not 60 years old. The guy's just 14. Why do you think is the main reason he's quitting? What do you think he's seeking?
Independence.
The what?
Independence.
Seeking for independence. Very good. What else? Why he's seeking for that independence? Why is it so important to be independent and to look for that at 14? Success, eventual success. But the guy has everything, then what's the need?
He wanted to make his own name.
He wanted to make his own name. He did not want it to live under or behind the shadow of his father. Okay? So he wants to make a name for himself. And you're going to see a lot of comparisons between Dexter and Jay Gatsby, because eventually Jay is going to want to do or have a name for himself. Okay? We're also going to meet in this first part of the story a character, female character. Very important. She's going to be the main character in terms of the opposite sex. And that's who?
Judy Jones.
Judy Jones. Famous Judy Jones. And Judy Jones, what is the personality of Judy Jones? Spoiled. She's a spoiled personality. A personality that, on the other hand, we got Dexter, that is a guy that wants to work to be successful. And then you have a Judy Jones that what? She has had everything. So there's no need for her to work for anything that she wants. It just comes and that's it. That comes with money. Okay? Then we're gonna have a conflict between 2 characters in part number 1. And that's gonna be Judy Jones and the conflict that we're gonna have at the part number 1 between 2 female characters, the nurse. We're not talking here about a nurse from a hospital. It's a nurse. In this case, she's gonna be taking care of Judy Jones. Judy Jones is 11 at that time. And they're gonna have a confrontation. Well, we could end up with a lot of speculation and our own conclusions but there's nothing precise that can tell us what was the real reason. Okay, we're speculating that probably was because of Dexter or because the caddy master, and on and on. Okay, time is gonna go by. We're gonna change to part number 2, and in part number 2, we're gonna have our grown Dexter. Dexter is already going to college, and the guy is just going apart from the rest of the college students. Why? The guy is gonna make his own business, but before that, he's gonna look for something in particular, and that's money. How he gets the money? He's gonna get a loan of $1,000. So that loan is gonna help him build his business. What business? What type of business? Laundry business. And why Dexter was successful in that business?
He did his job best.
He did a good job. Like, he was the best caddy, and he was also the best guy doing the work in the business with the laundry. What's special about Dexter's laundry?
Everyone wanted it.
Everyone wanted it, but why? Okay, why do you go to a certain restaurant, to a certain store in particular? The quality, the service. That's very important. You could be the best of the best, but if you don't give a good service to your clients, that's gonna go at an epic downfall. Okay, so he gave quality service. He began with male clothing, and then he also had female clothing. Okay, so the guy gave quality service. The guy's gonna have a lot of money. The guy's gonna have an invitation to a club by someone named Mr. What? No, not T.A. Henry. No, it's Mr. Hart. Mr. Hart is gonna give the invitation. Remember that Mr. Hart was the guy that says, "Oh, that boy," that he always like acknowledged the potential. We could describe Mr. Hart with Mayor Wolfsheim in The Great Gatsby, because there were people that saw potential in both. Hart saw potential with Dexter, and Wolfsheim saw potential with Jay Gatsby. So those are the guys that are going to take them all the way along. You're going to see a Dexter Green that he's going to be a bit different. Well, some of us could probably argue that a lot of difference, and it was a lot of difference. In what way was different the behavior of Dexter Green now than how it was before? What was his opinion of T.A. Hendrick before and now? The guy was the idol. Like, oh my God, the ultimate guy. Like, I played golf with that guy in my dreams. Never expected to do it like hand to hand. But now, the guy is overlooking our T.A. Hendrick. He's not, I don't want to say respecting, but the guy doesn't have that admiration for that character anymore. So we're seeing that. Okay, remember I gave you the explanation with sports athlete that you have your idol when you're small, when you're young, and then when you're an adult, you're like feel that your competition, it's not the same anymore. You're on a different level. Okay. At the end of all of that situation, we got another introduction of Judy Jones, and there were a lot of comments between the male about Judy Jones. We know that Judy Jones was a what? A beautiful female. A female that was compared as the it girl at that time. After all that happens, it's night. And all of a sudden, Dexter is going to be at the veranda just looking at the sky, looking at the stars and the beautiful night, listening to the music and all that. And eventually what's going to happen, a motorboat is going to arrive, and in that motorboat, it's going to be Judy Jones. They're going to talk, they're going to have an exchange of conversation, they're going to have a wonderful night, and then at the end of that part 2 is going to have an invitation to dinner from, this case, not from Dexter. This invitation comes from Judy Jones. Remember that in the 1920s, things were starting to change. They were not the same like before, when males were the ones making the first move. Now we're gonna see an example of females making that first move with males. Okay, we're gonna have the dinner. What happens while they're having the dinner, before and during the dinner? Let's go before the dinner. What is the impression or the expectations that Dexter had. The guy had an expectation of something fancy. The guy dressed up like all nice and everything. And when he saw Judy Jones, was like, oh God, what is this? It's a total disappointment. Okay? Later on, they're gonna have a picnic. And what happens in that picnic?
After it's done, Judy disappears.
Just Judy disappears, like alone, right?
No, she's
With another man. So right there, we're gonna start to see the behavior of Judy Jones with men. Okay, what's gonna happen with Judy and men? She's gonna have only one, right? Just Dexter. Dexter is the only one. No, there are multiple men, and the story says that there are around 12. And how did she got to control those men? How she control men?
When she saw that one was slipping away, she went.
One was slipping away. Her attention just turned to that one in particular. Gave him a honey hour, as it was described in the story, and that's the way that it was kept. Then Dexter, it's still looking for Judy. Like every time that Judy does something bad to Dexter, Dexter continues to fall back to Judy. Okay? As days go by, the guy from New York arrives. Judy's gonna be with the guy from New York. There's gonna be with a local view and all that. And then ultimately, Dexter is gonna find a new girl. And that new girl is Irene Shearer. Great girl. The girl loves books. So it's like, for him, it's just a perfect girl. However, what's the problem in this relationship? Why that relationship can never just go away? What happened? Judy Jones was always there. The thought of Judy Jones was always in the mind of Dexter. So it was that obsession with Judy Jones was always there. These two, they got engaged. Irene Shearer and Dexter. With the parents, everything great. So the relationship, it's like the perfect relationship. You're good with your couple. You're good with the parents of your couple. So everything is great. One day, they were supposed to go to the university club to take a look at some orchestras, apparently for the wedding. What's going to happen when Dexter goes and picks up Judy Jones? Irene Shearer. She has a headache. Okay, a splitting headache. That means that it's a huge headache. So therefore, Irene's gonna be excused. Dexter's gonna have a conversation, very brief conversation. He's gonna leave, and then he's gonna attend the university club alone. But before that, we knew that Judy Jones left where? She left. No. Went to Florida. She went to Florida. She returns, and ultimately they're gonna have that reunion again on the university club. So they're gonna meet, and this is gonna take Dexter Green out of timing. It's gonna take him out of the timing. It's not gonna be the same guy again. What's gonna happen after that? They're gonna walk out. They're gonna leave in a car. And what's gonna happen? The unthinkable will happen. What's gonna happen? They're gonna be together. They're gonna be together. And the problem here is that if the headache of Irene would happen, they would have gone together. However, it did not happen. So now we have Dexter Green that did something very, very, very bad. And now, no Irene Shearer. Apparently, they don't explain it in detail, but apparently she knew the truth. Apparently, he revealed. So therefore, their engagement is gonna break up. And after that, Dexter is gonna have a major decision in his life. What's that decision? He's gonna go where?
War.
He's gonna go to war. Okay, by the timing of our story, we guess that it's World War I, same as Gatsby. So he's gonna go to war, be at war, gonna fight all that, and then he's gonna return. And he is going to receive a visit from a particular man. Who's that? Delvin. And this Delvin, why do you think he just paid the visit to Dexter? To talk to him about Judy Jones. So they're going to have a conversation about Judy Jones. And he is going to find out that Judy Jones has what?
Married and children.
She's married, she has children. And is she going out like she used to?
No.
No, totally different. Now it's the vice versa. The husband is the one doing what? Like doing the cheating and all of that. Okay? So we have that Lutz Sims is a similar kind of Tom Buchanan. Okay? So he's the it guy now. So eventually Dexter is going to be heartbroken. Dexter is going to be looking at that dream that is just slipping away. And how does our story end up? How does it end? I know that it ends like, and you're like, okay, this is the way that it ended. He ended up alone. No Irene Shearer, no Judy Jones. So this guy had the opportunity to start all over again, to have a second chance, fall in love again. What happens? He blew it. Blew that second chance. So the message right here in our story is which one? Multiple messages. What is it? What do we learn from this story? The problem with Dexter is that he did not know how to let go of Judy Jones. He could not let go. It is like when something is not working out, just let it go. Just cut it, that's it. And that was a problem. That's why the background of our story says the obsession of Dexter Green. So, because it was an obsession, that was the reason why he couldn't let it go. Okay? So ultimately we have Dexter Green that is alone, no Judy Jones, and no Irene Shearer. So basically that's the way that our Winter Dreams ends. And that's the end of the ultimate dream that Dexter Green had. So basically that's a general review of our Winter Dreams. Thank you.